Hey everyone, I'm Tammy, and thank you very much for joining me today. It may seem a little bit quick since my last couple of videos, but I just felt really it was time to do one on digestion, primarily because I've gotten quite a few. I've been contacted a number of times with regards to children or young people with some serious digestive problems, and I'm actually doing one on my on the blog, which you can sign up for at synergessence.com. It doesn't cost you anything to sign up. It's just a matter of I want to kind of keep things private. I don't want to make this a public blog. So when you do sign up, what you'll do get is a password that you can use to sign in with, and then you can kind of follow along that way. So maybe it just seems a little bit a bit much, but truthfully, I'm not into public display of people. I want people to feel safe is I guess what I'm trying to say. And sometimes, even though when we're on the other side of the computer screen and we can't see faces, it sometimes does feel safer to say things, but I just really kind of want to keep this as discreet as possible. And so on that note, like I said, I've been contacted recently on, I can't even think a number of times, and every one of them it's children with digestive issues. And so, yeah, I mean, it just made me think of bedwetting, because I get contacted a lot about bedwetting. And while there are certain remedies out there for bedwetting, I mean, and it's funny because this one young woman is, her two younger brothers are both bedwetters, and she read somewhere that cypress essential oil, because she represents a company, was going to do it, and it didn't make much of a difference for her brothers. And so her question to me was, why isn't this working? And I guess I'll just, I'm just telling you right now that the most common answer that you'll hear me say is it's hormonally related, but there's a number of reasons why we have bedwetting, and believe it or not, dopamine is involved in this. Depending on what other things are going on with the bottom, with the individual, it could be any number of other things that you want to incorporate into this. It could be tension, anxiety, where the muscle in the bladder, the sphincter in the bladder is too tight, and the bladder can't hold a lot. So we have bedwetting. So there's a number of reasons why just using cypress essential oil as a basic remedy is not effective. And the same thing can be said with regards to digestion. And this is big because digestion is basically, it's, how do I want to say this? It's complicated. It's a vicious cycle, because the digestion is required, good digestion from the mouth to the cell. Okay, first of all, digestion begins in the mouth, as you probably already know, and it ends in the cell, at the cell level. So when we start working with digestion, it's not just about improving enzymes and probiotics. Those tend to be the go-tos for everything. I don't necessarily agree with leaky gut. I mean, leaky gut makes it sound like you've got a really serious, I know, okay, before I say anything further, I realize that there are cases where people do seriously have structural issues with the digestive system. So this is not to disqualify that. This is for the general public, where the rest of us who don't necessarily have a structural issue within the digestive tract. And I even know of young children who are having challenges with acid reflux. So, but again, this is not a mindless or a thoughtless statement about digestion, because like I said, I realize there are people who do have significant issues with the structural function and the functioning of their digestive system. But most of us are living with digestive challenges that we may not even be aware of. And more importantly, it's again, like I said, it begins in the mouth and it ends at the cell level, and we can take the digestive enzymes, and I've talked about those before, and I do recommend digestive enzymes and probiotics in supplement form. And there are other things that we can do to improve the condition of the digestive system and helping the body actually utilize nutrients at the cellular level. But the reason why this is so important, like I said, is because it's fundamental in the way the body actually, if we're able to break it down and then begin to assimilate it, then we have proper neurotransmitter hormonal production. And we also have a more stable immune reaction. That said, when we are under chronic stress, we are under chronic survival mode, we are on chronic high alert, the digestive system is disrupted. And so we no longer break the macronutrients down effectively. Now, this is where I feel like the leaky gut kind of comes in, and I have talked to many people who think that they just have to heal their gut and their health will be restored. And I'm telling you that unless you actually relieve the stress at the cellular level, you will not restore. There's nothing significantly wrong with your digestion is altered. The chemistry and everything is altered as a result of the messages being received from external influences. I don't know if that makes any sense, but we are being inundated with information. Every chemical is basically a messenger. And when we are being exposed to xenoestrogens and which are chemicals, and other pesticides and herbicides and other things that maybe not be considered xenoestrogens, but we take medications and we eat food and take supplements that have additives in them, and we have just all of this external information coming in. It is signaling the body to behave differently. And when the body's being told to act differently, it's basically being placed, like I mentioned earlier, on high alert. This is an inflamed response. This is an inflammatory reaction because the body is on high alert. Think about it when you become alarmed about something. There's and you become engaged with somebody. There is, exasperation, there's frustration, there's a lot of, you could say, inflamed responses happening. This is what's happening on the inside, that the message is coming in from all these different chemicals. So the body is ultimately on high alert, and unfortunately our children are being born this way. And when I have 6-year-olds and younger that are struggling with acid reflux, and 8-year-olds who have, dealing with IBS, and that's actually something that I've mentioned in one of my latest videos that I have struggled with my entire life. When you have IBS, just this morning I got a call about a 8-year-old girl with a blocked bowel, and she's in an extraordinary amount of pain, and they didn't want to do this. They didn't do any surgery. They just basically flushed her with laxatives, but now the parents are wanting me to help them because she's still dealing with the pain. Well, that makes a lot of sense. She doesn't have the blockage, but she's got inflammation and she's got pain. So I'm having to, I've already provided them with some oils, and I'm giving them some ideas to either make put the oils into a suppository form where we can get them internally. Again, I don't agree with taking oils through the mouth, because you are going to ultimately break them down into a different format that the body may or may not be able to use as well. But to take them as an oil into the bloodstream through the rectum is a great way to do it. If somebody doesn't want to use the suppository, you just put the things in, you just put the oils in the water and take a bath in it. So it's as simple as that. But that's how you would take them internally and have a, as effective, if not better, result than just placing them on the skin. But like I said, the digestive system it's a serious problem. I mean, another one, and this is the one that I'm going to be writing about on my blog. It was asked about what my thoughts were on the lemon cleanse. And the reason why is this young woman, 16, she's 16 years old, she was told that she had a hiatal hernia, and she, for whatever reason, went to Mexico to have surgery. and a year later continues to live in pain, struggles to eat and many foods because her stomach hurts, and was also severely impacted recently with constipation. So we're trying, and so I had to give them some ideas and assistance on helping to relieve her as well. We ended up doing an olive oil enema, an olive oil enema to at least relieve the impaction. And then I started her on some herbs, and she's got some oils too, and hopefully she'll be turning things around. But like I said, the digestion begins in the mouth and it ends at the cell level, and that is with how the body is actually assimilating nutrients. And for some reason, there's this mindset that the body is not getting the nutrients, and I disagree with that. I mean, it's not getting the nutrients, so let me just say that it's not actually getting the nutrients, but it's not getting the nutrients for a different reason than dysfunction. It's not because the body is defective, and I'm really, really concerned because so many people these days are getting their methylation tests, and they're talking about the defects, and I've talked about this in prior videos, but the body is not defective. The body is, and it's not dysfunctional. I mean, even when we're dealing with severe health issues, it's really the body working for you. It's really saying, I'm trying here, and I need you to help relieve me. I need you to help stabilize me so that I can do what I was designed to do. So when we yeah, I just want to say that it's not, I'm sorry, I kind of lost what I was thinking, where I was going with that. But it's not dysfunctional. It's not, it might be debilitated. It might be weakened, but it's not dysfunctional. And so the most important thing we can do is to stabilize it, like I said. So when it is struggling like that, it's asking to be stabilized. And we have to see it as such. We have to see it that it's been working so hard, and it's tired, and it's been weakened. And the only way, I mean, think about it, when you're feeling weak, the only way to regain your strength is to find some sense of stability. That's even if it's mental and emotional, right? I mean, if you're having a highly mental and emotional day, you want to find that place where you can just kind of just decompress a little bit and just find some stability so that you can clear your head before taking the next step. This is what the body's asking for. And that's the whole purpose to what I want to talk about and why I'm talking about the digestion. So when we're dealing with a dysregulation of, a disruption of the digestive system, it's a sign. And unfortunately, many people think they don't even realize their digestion is out, because how do we know what's normal? I mean, when we were talking about the girl who asked me about bedwetting earlier, and she her mindset is that people, there's a story that we don't use the restroom at night, and the truth is that ever since I was a little girl, I got up to go to the bathroom. So what's normal really depends on what's normal for you. But when it comes to digestion, if there's any sense of, anxiety, there's how do you, okay, so I'm just coming up with ideas on how to identify whether there's a digestive issue. You don't necessarily have to have pain. It could be loss of appetite. It really depends on you, but I'm just going to go out on a limb here and say that basically all of us really would do well to support the digestive system, and that does include our children. But again, I strongly recommend digestive enzymes, primarily because they assist the body with breaking down the macronutrients. And what's funny is long before I ever understood this aspect of stress, I was doing a lot of nutritional consulting. I often put people on enzymes just for that reason, because we really have to assist the body with breaking down those macronutrients, because when that's not happening, and that isn't generally happening with the body on high alert, you have larger particles floating throughout the system that are not recognizable by the body. They cannot be used, and therefore it starts to trigger an immune reaction. And where it goes from there depends on your individual system. But this is the reason why we have histamine issues. This is the reason why we have hormonal imbalances or an alteration in our hormonal system. And like I was going on to say earlier, as far as using nutrients, the body is using nutrients, but it's using nutrients to make different chemicals. So let me kind of round that out and kind of clarify what I'm talking about. So we have a lot of people who, like I started to say earlier, who are going out and getting these methylation tests, and then they're talking about the body being defective because there's all these genetic SNPs where we're showing active and inactive, activated and inactivated genes. Okay, well, first of all, those things are flipping more often than we realize. And secondly, they could very well be, just because it's inactivated doesn't mean that it's dysfunctional and that's defective. It might actually be deactivated for a reason. The body is very knowledgeable, so to speak, on what chemicals need to be produced. And if we are on chronic high alert, the body is producing chemicals in accordance to what it thinks it needs to survive. This is the reason why I call it survival mode. And when it's in survival mode, it is making different chemicals, okay? The chemistry is not the same for thriving. It's what's needed for survival. And the chemicals that are needed for survival require different nutrients. Historically, I've talked about the misuse of nutrients, but it theoretically isn't a misuse of nutrients. It's actually a smart use of nutrients. It's just using different vitamins and minerals in order to survive. And in order for us to get back into the mode of thriving, we have to be able to break down those macronutrients. This is the reason for digestive enzymes. And then with the inclusion of essential oils, and I say that very lightly because, again, I don't agree with everybody using the same thing based on your current situation. So in order to integrate the oils into your life, would take some assistance, and at the same time incorporating ones that actually would be helpful for you would assist the body with using the accurate nutrients for thriving. So that's the reason why I talk about really stepping up our nutrient-rich foods and including essential oils and really honing in on the digestive system. Like I said, it's not necessarily a leaky gut. Because that just sounds like you got holes in your gut. And my God, who wouldn't think that they needed to heal their stomach? But the truth is if you go in and you see a gastroenterologist and they run all the tests and structurally you look fine and functionally everything seems to be okay, then we really have to get into more, that's a good thing. At least we want to celebrate that, but we also want to assist it even further, because if there's any sign that you don't feel well, or you might, like I said earlier, you might feel anxious, you might and this is normal for everybody, okay, but excessive fatigue or loss of mental clarity, maybe issues with the skin, easily frustrated. There's a whole, pain, unexplained pain. All of these things would be a sign that the body is needing some help. And this is where I would start with the digestive system. But like I said, you can't start them too young. Essentially, mothers were giving our children our digestive system. That's what I was told when I was taking my digestive courses. And from what I've experienced through my own research, like I said, the external factors that are affecting us are affecting our unborn children. And these stressors are altering their digestive system. And it's for a good reason. And at the same time, when they're young and, with autism and other childhood issues that are going on, I just don't feel like our children need to be struggling as much. When you have an 8-year-old who can't go to school because she's got stomach pain and headaches, This is not a good thing. So that's the reason why I wanted to do this video today. And like I said, I had one client, when I started with her years ago, she was 2 at the time, living with C. diff. This is, there's ways to help this. There's ways to help these children and stabilize their system. And again, there's no better time than now. And you can't be too early on this one. So let me know if you have any questions on how to integrate this. I'm going to put some links in the box below with regards to digestive enzymes, things that I would recommend for your children. And you can also contact me, Tammy at synergessence.com. You're welcome to join my Facebook group, Synergessence. It's a closed group, so you do have to, I can always add you. Just, again, message me. You can, there is a Synergessence page. You can look at, but always send me a message and let me know if you want to join the group. That group is where I'm going to talk more specifically about essential oils as they relate to the individual. And then, of course, I'm starting a podcast. You're welcome to, again, email me your questions for the podcast, as well as on synergessence.com, when I write the blog. So there's a couple of different ways that we can do this. And like I said, but in the description box below will be a couple of links to different digestive enzymes that you can take a look at, ones that I would recommend that I've used with children, even adults, and just to see how, if it's a fit for you. And again, if you have any other questions, let me know. I am always happy to interact with you, and I'm really super happy that you're here with me today. And blessings to you wherever you are in the world. And until we meet again, have a great day.